Good evening, folks. So let me just say that we have survived the blizzard here today. Um, I haven't been outside. I stayed in, and I have no idea how many inches we got here in the fine town I live in, but I'm guessing it's probably around a foot. Lot of wind, but it's going to warm up over the next couple of days because this is New England uh, as we are approaching spring. Okay, so let's talk because I managed to keep on the power and everything, and that's unusual because in Stoneham, if you sneeze, you can lose power. So it's pretty amazing that I went through the whole day without losing power when a lot of people didn't have power in New England and in Massachusetts. But I think those people were probably closer to the coast, and this was more of a coastal storm. So let's talk about why I'm here, though. It has nothing to do with snow. So as I told you in my last video, the league came back again with more concessions. Now, let me just say that the concessions they made were on housing, um, where they agreed to keep the housing in place through 2026, but phasing it out over the course of the new collective bargaining agreement as the salaries rise. Okay. However, not much leeway on revenue sharing, okay, which is the real sticking point of all of this. They're not so far away on everything else, but the revenue sharing is a problem, okay? And as I said in my last video, the WNBA, the league loves to cry poor mouth, but they won't open their books and show that. Um, and I'm not buying it, okay? Not with the way the league has been growing, not with the way it was growing before Caitlin Clark, and certainly not after she supercharged the league's growth. Okay. We all know why the WNBA is in the position that it's in right now. All right. There's no denying it. So uh, I don't know where this goes from here. Um, we may have a delayed season. I don't think the players want to strike. Um, I don't think that either side benefits from a lockout. And I'm going to say this. The WNBA can talk all they want about the players being unrealistic, but the WNBA is unrealistic as well. Okay. Here's the problem. The players have already made concessions. And I think that they would be happy to come to the table and make more concessions if the league would make some concessions. Okay. And more concessions on the revenue sharing side. I'm not saying, you know, they started with the league wanted 31%, the players wanted 31%, they lowered it to 27% or whatever it was. I think if the league would come up from their piddly little percentage that they want to give them and come up a little higher, the players would come closer, okay? But the league is unwilling to do that. In fact, they let it go 6 weeks without even making an attempt to get together with the players. And again, to me, that proves Kathy Engelbert is the wrong person in the wrong job. All right. But that's an issue for another day. But that being said, let me also say this. The other thing I didn't mention when I talked about the fact that Caitlin Clark was in Miami, hooking up with Lexi Hull and with Aaliyah Boston. And you also saw in the group picture that Kelsey Mitchell was there, and I believe Ari McDonald was there as well, is because the one thing that the Indiana Fever has that no other team in the league has like them is chemistry. Okay. They hang out off the court. They certainly get together to work out. I'm not sure why Caitlin Clark was in Miami other than to work out with her teammates. And this is the kind of chemistry great teams have. Okay. And the Indiana Fever is a team that's waiting in the wings to become a dominant force in the WNBA. Okay, to become a dynasty in the WNBA. They can do this. All right. They are building around a core team of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. Make no bones about this, okay? Kelsey Mitchell is not a throwaway player, and she's not a bench player. I'm going to say that again, all right? She belongs starting in the backcourt with Caitlin Clark. Do I want Lexi Hull back? Yeah, hell yeah, I do. But Lexi Hull knows where she plays. She's come off the bench since she came to the Fever. She is a sixth man. And do I want Sophie Cunningham back? Yes. Sophie Cunningham was willing to come to the Fever and ride the pine and come off the bench. She knew that coming here. We need strength off the bench, and Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham give us that. Now, where does Michaela Timpson fit in? We'll find out early in the year, I'm sure. But she has been working on her game, and that's what all really good rookies do, okay? So let's talk about where we are here. Because the Indiana Fever is preparing like there's a 2026 season. There's no question about that. All right? Let's talk about what we've got here. We have Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Michaela Timpson signed to contracts for sure for the upcoming season. They're all set. We need to bring Kelsey Mitchell in, number one in free agency. Followed right behind that by Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham. Now we're up to 6. Now we're up to 6. Okay? Let's say that the players get their wish in the new CBA and require that the teams carry 12 players. Up until this point, they've been able to carry 12 or 11, depending on if they had to fiddle with the salary cap. Okay? With the salary cap going up, the players want them to have to carry 12 players. Okay? So we've got 6. Let's say we retain Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull. So we get to bring in 6 more players. Does Ari McDonald come back? Maybe. Does Natasha Howard come back? Maybe. Natasha Howard had a good year for the Fever last year. Okay? She is what we call a small forward. She's also a smart defensive specialist. Okay? And that's also what Lexi Hull is on the guard side. Okay? So where does that leave us? We need a power forward for sure. And it also doesn't mean that if we get a power forward in free agency, that we can't draft, say, another power forward out of the collegiate draft. We can. We can still get Hannah Stuelke, okay? But Hannah Stuelke is not going to start in the WNBA. All right, she's not Caitlin Clark. All right, she is a project from my perspective. The Indiana Fever wants to go for a championship in 2026, period. All right, they're going to look for a power forward in free agency. All right? So where does that put us? So here's a funny thing. A funny thing happened on the way to free agency. You remember me talking about Azura Stevens. Now, I was talking about Azure Stevens coming to the Indiana Fever before the playoffs, during the period of time where they had the trade deadline. And I thought Caitlin Clark was coming back. And I said to myself, wow, she would be a great help to Aaliyah Boston in the front court, and that's what they need. And she would also be a new target for Caitlin Clark. Well, funny thing happened. So she's playing in Unrivaled this year. She has played with Kelsey Mitchell while she's been playing in Unrivaled, and she's played with Lexi Hull. So Azure Stevens got traded from her Unrivaled team to another Unrivaled team. So she posted a picture of herself with her new uniform on. And a fan made the comment on her post, so what do we think of Indy, as in Indiana? And as it turns out, Stevens replied to that fan with, "Nice little city, low key." And the fan replied back, "More nice if you played in it low key." So, Azure Stevens to the Fever, please, okay? I'm not the only person who has been talking about this being about Azure Stevens being a perfect target for the Fever. I believe uh, Sports Illustrated has mentioned it. A couple of other people have mentioned it. It was talked about during the trade deadline that she was a possibility. She is an unrestricted free agent. And let's say Natasha Howard does come back. Natasha Howard is not a power forward. She is a small forward. So there's plenty of room for Natasha Howard, and there's plenty of room for Azure Stevens. All right? See, this is how basketball works. We have a center. That's Aaliyah Boston. She's going to be one of the great bigs in the game, okay? Aaliyah Boston. Small forward, Natasha Howard. Power forward, Azure Stevens. Starting guards, Caitlin Clark, the floor general. Kelsey Mitchell, the shooting guard. Off the bench, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, Michaela Timpson, and whoever else they can manage to get their hands on. The Indiana Fever has already got, if they retain these players, a great core for a championship team. All right? This is where I'm coming from. So I'm just giving you the lay of the land as it exists in my head. All right? Now, I am not diminishing the importance of Michaela Timpson. I think last year when the Fever drafted her, they were happy to get her in the second round. I think they thought she was going to go in the first round. Now, I know she didn't get a lot of playing time, but guess what? A lot of rookies don't get a lot of playing time unless they're rookies like, say, Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston. All right? So, and keep in mind something here. Lexi Hull has only been in the league for 3 years. This will be her 4th year. That's why she is a restricted free agent. She's still kind of a baby, too. They have a very young core. All right? And that is why they went out and got people like Natasha Howard last year. People with experience who have won championships. So keep that all in mind. Now, as it turns out, I do have a highlight reel here for you tonight. And in honor of, the fact that we would love to have Azure Stevens as our power forward, I have the final 2 minutes of the Indiana Fever versus the Los Angeles Sparks, which is the team that Stevens has been playing for, as it turns out. So let's see. All right. So let's see a little bit of this. This video is about 8 minutes and 1 second long. And if, I hold true to form, I will show you all of it, even though I'll say I'm not going to show you all of it. Here we go.
Has the ball under 2 minutes to go, trying to go up 3 possessions. And instead, it's a 1-possession game. 150 remaining here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Fever are 13-6 this season in the clutch. They have been good in these moments. Mitchell will take it herself on the drive. Stevens got a piece from behind.
A lot of these baseline out of bounds, their tendency for the Fever is Kelsey Mitchell, so keep your eye on Mitchell.
Inbound Mitchell. Mitchell whips it back. Here's a Boston 3. Not too strong. Cross court, Nurse is left open. She can't tie it. A good look there for Kia Nurse, who's hit 3 of them out there here tonight. This near sellout crowd on their feet. Mitchell, shot clock down to 5, doesn't like it. Boston, Mitchell. Hull gets inside, and another impact play late here for Lexi Hull, who's fouled. Well, this has just been her story.
Lexi Hull. She has been outstanding. Like I said earlier, she doesn't need the ball, she doesn't need a play run for her, but she will make a winning play. Great hustle to come up with that loose rebound.
How often here out of the Olympic break have we called her name late in games? It's a rebound, it's a defensive stop, it's a steal, it's a three-point shot.
I mean, she's been 17 for 25 from the three-point line since the break. That's 68% from three. Almost 11 points a game, shooting her best field goal percentage from the floor and from the three-point line in her young career.
An offensive rebound, 2 huge free throws as Lexi Hull continues to shine here in year number 3. Aaliyah Boston has been one of the biggest stories for Indiana here on the night. 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Fever Center.
I mean, so reliable and durable around the rim, right? Quick with her footwork, reads the D, demands a double, but scores in isolation coverage. She and Caitlin Clark, the most connection of anybody on the team in terms of assists to points. And Clark just continues to lead the WNBA in assists. Really remarkable watching the two of them grow together through the course of the season. Remember, you can't say it enough, this team was 1-8 to start the year. Really tough, challenging schedule, 11 games in the first 20 days of the season. And they hang on here. That is 17-8 after going 1-8.
Which would be the 3rd best record in the WNBA since June. If the Fever could hold on here, they would match Minnesota for the best record out of the Olympic break at 7-1.
Yeah, both teams are 8-2 in the last 10. We're the only 2 teams, Minnesota and Indiana.
Still some work to do here. 55 seconds and a 5-point lead for the Fever. Nurse off the screen, bouncing for Hamby, too far behind her. Clark got a piece, and she'll get credited with the steal.
Got to play D right here. Kurt Miller electing not to foul here. I like the strategy. Play D, get the rebound, push up the floor. Call timeout and advance the ball.
Boston, shot clock down to 3, drives her way inside, muscles to the rim. And that might be the backbreaker.
So good time and score recognition. They run the clock down. Nobody has stopped Boston in the post all night. This is just, you want to call it a weight room bucket, it's just more size, more girth, a little bit stronger around the rim than Azura Stevens.
There you go, Azure Stevens. Not a center, a power forward though.
That's a muscle bucket right there. Weight room bucket by Aaliyah Boston.
Well, once again, this young Indiana Fever team, led by a rookie and a second-year pro and a third-year pro. No one in that shot right there has played more than 3 years in the WNBA. The league defines a clutch game as one within 5 points in the final 5 minutes. And in those games, if Indiana holds on here, they will be 14-6. Second best clutch record in the WNBA.
I'm playing this whole thing.
Not bad for a team full of mostly youngsters. And as you have been pointing out, Debbie, Clark now 22-10. That's her 13th double-double. If LA were to miss here and 22 could get the rebounds, maybe kind of funnel her to the rim if you could.
Yeah, be a triple-double. She's been close a couple of times, right? And she does have one already.
Also have a shot here if the Fever can get a stop.
This play's taking too long, I think. Indiana not electing to call timeout. and advance the ball, trying to dribble out the clock a little bit. Caitlin Clark will go to the free throw line.
By the way, all the accolades for Caitlin Clark, and all deservedly so. One that doesn't get talked about a lot, her free throw shooting, 90% on the year. That's 4th in the WNBA. Not surprising, but impressive still. And it's back to a 3-possession game. So LA will use their reset timeout here. Again, this is just an advancement of the ball, no huddle. Clark's still a rebound shy of the triple-double.
Run the same play.
It's up. It won't go. Clark pulls it down, and this building knows what that means.
Kelsey Mitchell's going, what happened? Oh, it's a triple-double for Caitlin. What a reaction by Kelsey.
Well, how about the knowledgeable fans in this building? They burst out of their seats like it was a game winner. And Caitlin Clark has a triple-double. It's the second ever for a rookie, and they both belong to her. And Indiana has now won 7 of 8 out of the Olympic break. They're 18-16, sole possession of 6th place. And here's the one that did it. And watch the crowd. I don't think a rebound has ever gotten that kind of ovation.
So there you go. Okay. You know something? Think about that. With Caitlin Clark, they made the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. Now, they have an opportunity here to dominate the WNBA for a long time. We just need to make sure, okay, that we get Kelsey Mitchell first, and then we need Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, and then we need a power forward. And I would prefer that it's Azure Stevens, but we need a power forward, okay? And you know something? We add from there, and it can only get better, okay? We make bank. We are a dominant force in the league, and that is where we're going. All right? Now, between tonight and my next video, which I hope will be tomorrow night, I'm going to see what I can find on the CBA, any kind of reaction that I can find anywhere in the legitimate media about the players' reaction to the concessions that were made by the league on Friday. I haven't even really looked. I've seen a lot of garbage videos out there. I'm leaving, Caitlin Clark in tears, you know, the whole 9 yards. They just never stop. And we know that that's the furthest thing from the truth, but they don't seem to want to tell the truth much as long as they can get hits. So I will see what I can find out about the CBA. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you again, hopefully, tomorrow night.